What's good, YouTube? Today we got a video. Hito Maki. We got Yuji Itadori's final plan. I saw the title when you first uploaded this. You're not slick. Yeah, video about Yuji. I'm just judging off of this. This is most likely covering JJK Modulo. It's technically not spoilers for JJK because it's like the end. If you thought everything was gonna end, like the universe would explode or something, and I guess it's spoilers, but it's just, the what's that, technically sequel? It's prequel, something that comes before. But yeah, let's get straight into it.
If there's one thing Jujutsu Kaisen has taught us is that the past doesn't die. It festers, it waits, and eventually it demands to be paid. When we look at the events of chapter 21 of Modulo, we're looking at the collision of 3 generations of trauma, all converging on a single.
Wait. Oh, that's I think that's Maki. Yeah. He said mine's my grandma. I'm about to say, who is this, bro? A strong ass jawline. I thought it might have been a dude.
Looking at the collision of 3 generations of trauma, all converging on a single moment of hesitation. It's a chapter that poses a very specific, very cruel question. Can the next generation actually be better than us? Are they doomed to simply bleed in new, more colorful ways? The tragedy of the chapter isn't the apparent death of Tsurugi. It's the realization that the
Tsurugi died?
grandson of Yuta carries a burden far heavier than his sword. And it's the realization that Yuji Itadori, the man who is supposed to be a cog in the machine, has slowly become the machine itself. Today we're going to dissect this tragedy. We need to talk about why Tsurugi's mercy was his death sentence. We need to talk about Maru's harmony and the terrifying cost of a perfect world without curses. And perhaps most importantly, we need to talk about the man in
Itadori Yuji.
Limbo, the ghost of Shibuya, the curse that waited over 68 years just to realize that you cannot outlast a cog that refuses to stop turning. This is the end.
Did you think he was gonna die?
Or maybe just the beginning of a new nightmare.
You think he was like pulling a bum Gumi Fushiguro tactic and was just like bush camping, hoping Yuji would eventually get old so he could slime him out?
So the chapter opens with a fight between Maru and Tsurugi.
Just like his, he looked just like his dad.
Sorcery battle. But if you look closer, it's a dialogue about the nature of strength. Tsurugi has the upper hand, ready to sever the thread that is Maru's life. And in any other shonen manga, this is where he strikes. This is where he proves his resolve. But he stops. Why? Because he sees Maru crying from that third eye. And that is when we're thrusted back into the past. Tsurugi remembers Maki. He remembers the story of the Zenin twins. He remembers Maki saying that her strength was built upon the corpse of her sister. And in that split second, Tsurugi makes a choice that is fundamentally human. He says, I don't know, man. I'm just 17. And I love this because it strips away the sorcery mask. It admits to the absurdity of their reality. You know, the one where children in every shonen manga are somehow responsible for the complex decisions of their world instead of the adults who have the experience. That is why he poses the rhetorical question. Why should a 17-year-old be deciding the fate of the world? Why should he have to murder his friend for a political dispute he barely understands? But here,
did his friend kill him? If so, it's a waste of words, but this nigga's a waste of space.
This is where Gege and the Modulo narrative in general punishes him. Because the world of Jujutsu is not kind to...
Please tell me he don't die. Because it's like, he's speaking in the past tense, as if he's a narrator. If he'd followed through with that swing, he would have won. If he's followed through with that swing, you would have died. And he stopped the swing. Did you still kill him, bro?
Humans. It's kind to monsters. The moment he lowers his guard, the moment he chooses empathy over duty, he is destroyed. Maru's technique lashes out whether it's automatic or a trauma response, it doesn't matter. The result is
he didn't do it on purpose.
Tsurugi is impaled and he collapses into Maru's arms. This is the central dichotomy of the series. To be a perfect sorcerer is to discard your humanity. To keep
the blood on the U-turn sign is crazy. Because traditionally, when you become a sorcerer, it's always said in early JJK, it's talked about how you can't turn back. Once you go down this road, you can never turn back. There's no more normal life. He just chose the normal life. That's why there's blood on the no U-turn. because the blood is like a way to, cloudy up the symbol in a way of saying like, death is a way to kind of annul that agreement, so to speak. Or like if you're willing to sacrifice enough, it's possible to turn back.
your humanity is to die. Tsurugi tried to break the cycle of the Zenin. He tried to say no more, and the narrative crushed him for it. This is where the story kind of shifts from a personal
Where's his plot armor at, bro? Ain't he the main character?
tragedy to a more so global crisis. Because Maru doesn't just win, he meets Rika, the queen of curses herself, and that triggers something inside him. After a moment of confusion, something happens between them off screen that
Is that a lion?
hardens his resolve.
Is that what that's supposed to be? I never seen my own authority. I want you to pass judgment on this harmony and serve as witness as representative of the earth. What
Then
harmony?
later reveals his
I'm so
plan,
lost.
the harmony ritual. Now think back to Yuki Tsukumo. Think back to Suguru Geto.
Yeah.
They all looked at the suffering of the world and
Quick thing. That's what I love about seeing Ghetto. Is like if you paid enough attention in season 2 of JJK, Gojo was becoming the bad guy and Suguru was the good guy. Or realistically, that red and blue was like Gojo is the like more ill-tempered one. You see that by him running back on Toji. You see him like geeked out. He plays off as calm, but he's under severe pressure all the time for being number one, while Geto is under pressure all the time for being like number two. You want to be the strongest, but like you can never cut it. But he didn't have that intense of a rivalry, so he was able to be more like cool-headed about things. But after the situation happens with Gojo, he says to Geto like, "Yo, hey, it means nothing, right?" Geto's like, "Yeah, it don't mean nothing for real." He's like, "Oh, so should we kill all these guys, Suguru?" And then Geto was like, "No, don't kill him." And then Geto ended up becoming he ended up becoming the bad guy. And the whole point of Jujutsu sorcery, the reason this question is very important is Jujutsu sorcery is the ability to harness negative emotions and turn it into power. Curses are born from negative emotions. However, because Jujutsu sorcerers have the ability to like use this cursed energy, it doesn't build up and become curses. So he's posing this question because if you just kill everyone who can't use Jujutsu, then everyone has Jujutsu. And if everyone has Jujutsu, curses can't exist. That's like the claim Geto was
said,
making.
I can stop this. Maru is no different.
Which is interesting because it wasn't, why don't we teach everyone Jujutsu? It was, why don't we kill everyone who can't use Jujutsu?
He wants a world without cursed spirits. He wants to create a paradise where tragedies like Tsurugi's death doesn't happen. Now, I will say that the transition from Tsurugi's death to the ship scene is a bit jarring. It is slow, and I have seen some people say that the pacing is bad. But I want to offer a different perspective. Think about trauma. Think about how memories work during a tragedy. You don't remember the bus ride to the hospital. You don't remember the hours in the waiting room. You remember the crash, and then you remember the aftermath. The hard cut to the ship mirrors that psychological break. We're denied the closure of seeing Tsurugi's final moments. We're thrusted into the new location. We're suddenly on the ship. There's a giant galleon and there's a curtain. The narrative is forcing us to feel the same confusion as the characters.
Really died, bro.
We are lost. The ground has shifted beneath our feet, and this disorientation is crucial because it prepares us for the reveal that is about to happen. And this is the moment the entire chapter, the entire model storyline has been building towards. Yuji Itadori stands on the ship, and behind the curtains is Morito. It's then revealed that Morito has been hiding in the afterlife for Limbo for over 68 years.
He said, I've been...
60...
Brother, what happened to the video? Oh, it just goes black. He said, unless you died first, I wouldn't have been able to see you. So he's been waiting.
Been hiding in the afterlife for Limbo for over 68 years. 68 years. Think about the sheer petty malice required for that. This dude is crazy. But it's also practical because Mahito knows that Yuji is his natural predator, the one who can touch his soul. Yuji promised that he would wait for him and he would kill him over and over again every time he comes back. So,
change your form. I will kill. Like, that's a different level of hate. That's some. In the Kmart, Buy my house, come outside, let's bang out. I hate you, let's die.
He
Type
decided that
energy.
he's not going to go back. He realized that he couldn't win in a fair fight, so he decided to wait for Yuji to die. It's such a perfectly Mahito thing to do, right? It's cowardly. He was willing to sit in nothingness
I knew he was bush camp.
for nearly a century just to avoid Yuji's fist. Now, this petty squabble is less important here because, as I said before, Maru wants to eradicate all cursed spirits. To do that, he needs the mule, the resource of the new world, and he needs Yuta's ring. This makes sense because Yuta Okotsu's ring isn't just an object. It's a
Right.
symbol of the bond between Yuta and Rika. By using that, he's
Okay.
effectively bridging a connection between curses and humans.
And humans.
There's also a need
Okay.
for Mule, a special ore which has the power to convert cursed energy into all forms of energy. By merging those two things using his curse technique, which has the ability to manipulate concepts, and
And then Mahito's technique that can manipulate souls.
Mahito's idol transfiguration, he hopes to
Okay.
create a world where cursed spirits are no longer born.
Yeah.
That is something that
Like,
Yuki
everyone's
wanted
just
to
people.
accomplish herself, which is why Yuji gave Maru her
My big brothers. Hold on, bruh. Yuji's such a goat, bruh.
research. And based on what I've gathered, the way to accomplish this would be to convert cursed energy to a different kind of energy. Because
Right.
without humans leaking out cursed energy into the world, cursed spirits
Curses aren't
wouldn't be
born.
born.
Yeah.
So the goal would either be to stop humans from leaking out that energy altogether.
It's by teaching them jujutsu or converting literally cursed energy into something else. Like, say the Dragon Balls existed. The wish would literally be like, I wish cursed energy wasn't based off negativity, but was based off positivity, which still has limits because, granted, if you're a jujutsu sorcerer, you can manipulate negative into positive by multiplying against itself, which in theory would mean someone could, like, multiply positive on positive to create negative. But the point is that doesn't happen because in the process of controlling it, you kind of lose the ability to emit it in the sense of curses are created. That is why Jujutsu sorcerers are able to use mass amounts of cursed energy without anything bad happening. Like, if all negative energy was responsible for curses, when Gojo pops Hollow Purple, a curse built like Maharaga will spawn. You feel me? But that's not the case. And that's because once you are able to harness your own negative energy, it cannot, like, create curses, because curses are kind of like the things from Chainsaw Man. They're born out of people's fears, things people hate, things people are afraid of. So it's like, as a sorcerer, you're harnessing that negative energy into creating something instead of, destroying something or hating something.
Together are to change the properties of the energy once it does leak out. We have no
Right.
idea what the exact route is going to be, so we'll see in the upcoming chapters. Now, Yuji is more so here to be a representative for humans, a witness per se. Maru doesn't want to recalibrate humanity without a human being there to represent their people. So Yuji is still maintaining that
But
passive
Yuji
role
is
in
not
the new
human.
generation. Unless Maru needs him to land some soul hits on Mahito for him to comply. We'll see. I will also say that the universe has some sense of irony because Mahito was very clearly expecting a world free from Yuji Itadori. He expected to see a gravestone, right, when he finally reincarnated. He expected to see a weak, unguarded era. But when he sensed that something was off, he himself said, "Wait a second, you're not dead, right?" And you can see the look on his face, the sheer horror, as he realizes that he wasted his time.
Boy,
He
sweat.
realizes that Yuji did not die, that the cog kept turning. Yuji is still here.
That actually really sucks too, because he could have been living his life doing anything. Like, yeah, he causes havoc for fun, but, like, there's no way he finds that fun. He does that more because he has to, and then there's some entertaining aspect to it. You get what I'm saying? It's like, that's why when, like, they ask him, why are you doing it? He's like, I don't need a reason, bro. It's their form of entertainment. But to think he's just been sitting there idly twiddling his thumb, idle, that's ironic. But the fact that he's idly sitting there, twiddling his thumbs, is just, that's sad. 60 years of doing that.
The scene on the ship is a nightmare for Mahito. He's trapped in the middle of nowhere with the one monster he tried to escape. With that said, how do we tie this all together? Tsurugi's sacrifice, Maru's ritual, Mahito's return, they seem like different plot points, but they're
Not
all
at all.
threading the same needle. The harmony that Maru wants, it's a shortcut when you think about it. It's a cheat code. Instead of working together on a more interpersonal level, he has chosen to redesign the world itself.
The
And
concept
to an
itself,
extent,
yeah.
it does make sense. How can they live together when, in order to survive, humans must kill the things whose suffering causes the Sumerians' pain. It's an untenable situation, so maybe this is the only way. Or maybe this
Wait, so the Sumerians feel pain when curses die?
is pain. It's an humans must kill the things whose suffering causes the
That's
Sumerians' pain.
crazy.
It's an untenable situation, so maybe this is the only way. Or maybe this leads to another problem. If Chapter 21 proves anything, it's that Gege Akutami and the Modulo continuation in general is not interested in giving us a clean ending. A clean ending would be Tsurugi saving Maru. A clean ending would be Mahito staying dead. But Jujutsu Kaisen is a story about the mess. It's about the
Yeah,
scars
true.
that don't fade. Tsurugi's scar is the Zenin legacy. Maru's scar is the Sumerian war. Yuji's scar is Mahito. And now all those scars are
Man, you should not worry about that little.
bleeding at the same time. It's a brutal mess of conflicting ideologies. And in some sense, that is peak Jujutsu Kaisen. Let me know what you guys
Hey.
think in the comments. Does Tsurugi survive this? Who knows? Maybe Rika healed him and that is why Maru doesn't seem so sad. And also, what's the plan to get rid of the curses? How do you see it playing out? Let me know in the comments.
Type tech, man. Shout out the dog, Keto Maki. Thank you all for watching. As always, make sure you stay happy, healthy, hydrated, and you know it's time to catch me next. Peace.